centered, I'm in the suburbs of Philadelphia, you guys don't know that. So as the city creeped farther and farther out, things would get more and more developed. But at a certain point, one of the things they were like was, we like the fact that we're an agricultural community and we have all this open space, we're going to preserve it. So now there's like literally huge tracts of land that you can't build on. You can't develop it. It has to be used for farming. And this just helps, a lot of times it helps with like water runoff, general like appearances, as well as just like saving and like not overtaxing like school districts or other infrastructure. And if you're farming locally, a lot of times they're following more environmentally sustainable practices as opposed to like just growing thousands of acres of corn. So where are we at? This is actually a picture of the farm that I used to work on. You can see lots of variety in fields, kind of a similar structure, but so something that's actually kind of interesting you get from this view is like kind of the shape of we were kind of on a slight hill, which is really nice for like drainage. So one of the things is, as a farm, like irrigation is really important, right? So we have like this kind of crest where things that need like less water kind of get put in the middle here because then it'll run off. And then we have other crops down at the bottom that are more like water friendly, they need more water, or they don't care, they'll just take whatever. So they kind of just get more supplies. So it's kind of, sometimes when there's like elevation, it can actually help your farming. And you can see kind of some of the diversity that's going on in this picture. So, day in the life of Farmer Aaron. It's just for, kind of quips and giggles, but I just wanted to like show you guys what's going on, like what I kind of did. So I worked, this is basically my summer, I worked 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it started at 7 a.m., kind of pick out like what we needed to do for the day. So we had 2 pickup days for the CSA, which would be like Tuesdays and Thursdays. The other days, a lot of times we do more like maintenance things, or Friday and Saturday we have markets. So Friday we'd be picking for like the Friday market or the Saturday market, and then also Saturday we'd be picking for the Sunday market. So you start in the morning, pick greens. So this is something you probably don't even think about. Like there's a time to harvest different things. So before the peak midday sun comes up and it's super hot, you want to get your spinach, your Swiss chard, your collard greens, all those things that are like nice and leafy, and when you put them in the saute, they just reduce down to nothing. That's because they have water in them. So if you don't get them out of the field like before the sun starts beating down, then you won't have fresh produce. Other things, and then as it gets warmer and warmer, things like squash doesn't really matter, corn doesn't matter, but the leafy greens are really important. So by 9 a.m. we kind of have like most of the important things that like wanted to be moisturized and need the moisture out of the way. And then 10 a.m. is kind of like begin the processing for the everything that goes through is kind of manually processed, cut up, trimmed, made to look pretty, bunched. So onions are getting put into bunches to be purchased or picked up. And then 12 to 1 have a lunch break. And then 2 o'clock, people would start rolling in with the CSA. And then basically afternoon would be like weeding, maintenance, irrigation, planting, those kind of things. But, it's just a life. Here's a picture of me from back in the day.
Nice hat.
Thanks. Surprised you can see me there.
Kind of from you,
But, yeah, I just want to go over some common misconceptions. I didn't mean to call Jim out on this. But I think you asked, about pesticides or fertilizer and why organic's better because they don't have it. And a lot of times people are like, oh, organic farming. I put this picture is way too dramatic.
It's like you're like Fallout 4 power up.
Yeah, it's like Fallout or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a misconception that fertilizer and pesticides aren't used on crops. That's just blatant lie. You're still, everything's a fertilizer if it has like nitrogen and things like that in it that cells need. So basically, you can use anything that's like organically certified. You don't put like just random chemicals on your field. But there are fertilizers and pesticides that you can use. A lot of times they're less effective than like the synthetic, things that they make in the lab. But you can still get really good results. And there's organic things that you still don't, there's organic pesticides and fertilizers that you don't want to eat. Because, just because it's organic, or natural, like you don't want to eat some of the organic things out there. I'm trying to think of like something.
You listed beer and sugar.
Oh, yeah, there you go, yeah. But I was thinking like arsenic. Arsenic's organic. You know what arsenic is?
Like salt in itself, like you bring up salt and NaCl, they're both very poisonous.
Yeah. So just because something's organic natural doesn't mean it's good for you. So a lot of the marketing kind of takes advantage of people assuming like natural things are good things.
Yeah, there's like a vending machine like in like the business school. There's a beverage that has like organic caffeine. I was like, well.
Yeah, no, and that was our next point. So healthier. So a lot of people get organic things because it's healthier. And organic coffee, organic sugar, organic beer, none of those are
How is
healthier.
coffee not healthy?
Yeah.
Well,
really
no, okay.
It's actually adding too much, but it's pretty bad
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I mean, too
Well,
much.
so
You have one cup of coffee a day.
Okay, so I didn't put these. Okay. Sorry guys, I didn't, but I guess like people that are putting, some people put tons of creams and sugars in their coffees and it becomes unhealthy. But
Alright, I'll do that.
just because it's got organic in front of it doesn't make it healthier or good for you. There's nothing, sugar is sugar and it's kind of bad for you. There are natural sugars, but
We budgeted the sugars for energy, but it depends on which kind of sugar.
No, that's not true.
Alright. That's all it is. I want to move on.
yeah.
Of course, there's sugar.
And there's the whole better for the environment. So on a whole, like, local organic farming is probably better for the environment. But this is, I say probably because if you're dumping or, just like leaching all the nutrients out of the soil by just rerunning and regrowing the same crop over and over again without, whereas, the conventional farmer's actually taking care of the land. If he's being careful and looking at what he's putting into the land, he'll actually have, more sustainable, better, like lower environmental impact.
They still burn the grass after the land after they fertilize it too much?
I guess I think it depends on those. We've never done that, but we take really good care of our land.
That would make sense.
But one of the things, a lot of times is you'll grow like cover crops and then you'll like plow it back into the land. Or if there's too much like nitrogen in the soil or something, then you'll grow a high and a plant that needs a lot of nitrogen to grow. And this is something you can all like look up. Biologists would be better at like saying which plants need that and which don't. But and bunnies eat carrots. I don't know. There's like a very like storybook like bunnies eat carrots. The thing like organic carrots are really hard to grow, and the reason for that is not like animals. It's just weeds. Like so when carrots start out, they're really tiny, and it's really easy to overpower them. To get them to get overpowered by weeds, and it's really hard. You have to it was one of the most labor-intensive processes. But we basically, they have some machines for it, very, very expensively. But we would go down the line, thinning carrots, pulling out all the weeds manually, and then leaving like 2 fingers width between the carrots. The length of a field, with 6 rows, 7 rows of carrots. So that's labor-intensive. And the weeds kill, if you didn't regularly weed that, weeds grow way faster than most vegetables grow. So your tiny little carrot sprouts are going to be no more. Things that organic farmers worry about. So with the less, fancy pesticides and less fancy fertilizers, one of the big things is blight. Blight is just kind of like a mildewy disease. This is actually a picture of it, but it'll just, once it gets onto your plants, it'll kind of start spreading, just eating and killing your plants. Bugs are a big problem as well, and you have to worry about rotating the crops to make sure that, with the right nutrient balance in each field that you're going into. And things like blight and bugs will stay in like an area. So I showed you that big picture, and one of the big things that like our farmer would have to watch out for was if you get like if you get a tomato blight in like this corner field, then you don't want to grow tomatoes anywhere near that for like 1 or 2 years, because it'll stick around in the soil, and you know, if you put even like next to it or something, it gets spread. But if you put some distance between them, then you can actually like prevent the spread of these like diseases without worrying about, you know, killing it with these like super harsh chemicals. And birds and crows and other pests. We had a hard time with corn, because we grew like a really sweet corn, and you know, we didn't grow a lot of it because a lot of people grow tons of corn. You know, growing a special variety, and a lot harder to grow. And we actually have these huge nets that we just put over the field to like keep the birds out, which is interesting. So I don't know if Jordan's online, but Jordan was interested in the organic certification process. I just threw this slide in here. So I mentioned organic CSA. When I actually, the entire time I was at the farm, we practiced organic, but we couldn't say that we were organic. To say that you're organic, you have to go through this super rigorous process through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which involves like years of back work, never using anything synthetic, and proving that with the sales receipts, showing what you did put on the field that weren't the, you know, making sure that you showed that you had these organic things. You can't use genetically modified seed. The farmland that you're growing these crops on, you can't just go to like a conventional farm and just start growing organically on it. You're going to have other, you know, remnants. You get it?
Organic food.
You want some organic H2O? Yeah, so like I said, paper trail, it was like a 4-year process for us. They actually got it the year after I finished. But, and they started it like, you know, the second summer I was there, of going through this formal process. And one of the big things is like, as computer scientists and other tech savvy people, we're all like, oh, why don't you just have like a spreadsheet, put all these things in? Everything had to be like, if you did something on the computer, you had to like print it out with a date on it.